The projector started running before I even opened the basement door. Dust drifted through the hallway like grey snow, while the old theatre groaned around me as though something enormous was breathing beneath the floorboards. I should have left the moment I heard the audience applauding from somewhere underground. The applause sounded slow and uneven, yet hundreds of hands seemed to clap in complete darkness below me. A flickering beam of light leaked through the cracked basement doorway, while the smell of smoke and mildew crawled into my lungs. Then I heard someone whisper my name from the other side of the door. I froze beside the staircase, while the whisper repeated itself in a low, trembling voice that sounded almost mechanical. The beam of light beneath the door shifted slightly, and shadows moved across it like people taking their seats inside a theatre. One of them stopped directly in front of the doorway as though it sensed me standing there. That night changed everything I believed about abandoned places and forgotten stories. Even now, years later, I still wake up, hearing the projector spinning somewhere beyond my bedroom walls. What I found beneath the crumbling theatre should never have been seen by anyone again. The theatre stood near the edge of my hometown, beside an empty parking lot filled with weeds and shattered glass. Most people avoided the building because of old rumors involving disappearances, electrical fires, and strange lights flickering behind the boarded windows after midnight. I became obsessed with the place after working on a documentary about abandoned buildings across the state. I first entered the theatre during the middle of October, while heavy rain hammered against the streets outside. My camera flashlight revealed torn velvet seats, collapsed balconies, and mold spreading across faded walls that once displayed glamorous paintings of actors from another era. Despite the decay, the building felt strangely warm, as though someone had been living there recently. Near the stage, I discovered dozens of burned film reels stacked inside rusted metal containers. Some reels carried handwritten labels covered in symbols I did not recognize, while others simply displayed dates beside missing names. Every clock inside the theatre had stopped at exactly 1:13 in the morning. I later visited the local library to search through newspaper archives about the theatre's history. An article from 1974 described a catastrophic fire during the premiere of an experimental horror film created by a reclusive director named Victor Vale. According to the reports, dozens of audience members vanished during the chaos and were never officially found. An elderly librarian noticed the article spread across my table and immediately looked disturbed by what I was reading. She quietly told me the theatre basement had once been sealed by police after investigators discovered hidden tunnels beneath the building. Before leaving, she warned me never to stay there after midnight because strange screenings still happened underground. Her warning only deepened my curiosity, and I returned to the theatre 3 nights later, carrying extra camera batteries and recording equipment. Rainwater dripped through holes in the ceiling, while distant thudding noises echoed beneath the stage. The deeper I explored, the more I felt like the building itself was waiting for me. I eventually found a locked projection room above the auditorium, hidden behind collapsing curtains. Inside the room stood an ancient projector covered in ash, yet its metal surface felt warm beneath my fingers. Beside it rested several reels labeled with the words "Final Screening" written in smeared black ink. That night I also met a man named Harold, who claimed he once worked as the theatre's projectionist decades earlier. His hands trembled violently when he saw the reels in my possession, and he begged me to destroy them before sunset. According to Harold, the film shown during the fire was never completed because something inside the basement interrupted the screening. Harold refused to explain further and hurried away before darkness settled across the streets outside. I stayed behind inside the projection booth while thunder rattled the windows around me. At exactly 1:13 in the morning, the projector suddenly turned on by itself. The machine roared loudly, while dust exploded into the air around the booth. Light flooded the ruined auditorium below me, revealing rows of shadowy figures slowly taking seats among the broken chairs. None of them spoke or moved naturally because their bodies flickered like smoke trapped inside human shapes. The film playing on the screen showed distorted footage of people entering the same theatre decades earlier. Their faces appeared stretched and blurred, while flames danced silently behind them throughout the recording. Then the footage suddenly changed to show me standing inside the projection booth at that exact moment. I stumbled backward in terror, while the audience below tilted their heads upward toward me in perfect synchronization. At that point, I genuinely did not know what to do. If you had discovered what I found that night, would you have kept investigating or escaped before it was too late? Instead of running, I made the worst decision of my life and followed a narrow staircase descending beneath the stage. The air grew hotter with every step, while distant whispers echoed through tunnels hidden below the theatre foundations. My flashlight eventually revealed old ritual symbols carved directly into the stone walls underground. Deep beneath the theatre, I discovered a second cinema hidden below the original auditorium. Hundreds of empty seats faced another massive screen, illuminated by pale, flickering light from a projector that operated without electricity. The shadow figures filled every row silently, while thick smoke curled across the ceiling like living creatures. The screen displayed scenes from my childhood that nobody else should have known existed. I watched my younger self playing inside my family home, while shadowy figures stood motionless outside the windows in the recording. Then the film showed my future arrival beneath the theatre, exactly as it was happening. A voice suddenly emerged from behind the screen and whispered that the audience had been waiting many years for me. The curtain slowly lifted to reveal dozens of burned human bodies fused into the walls surrounding the projector room. Their hollow faces twitched weakly while blackened film strips protruded from their mouths like tongues. One figure stepped forward from the darkness, wearing the remains of an old director's suit covered in ash and blood. I immediately recognized Victor Vale from the photographs in the newspaper archives, despite his skin appearing melted and stretched unnaturally across his face. His eyes glowed faintly, while the projector continued rattling behind him. Victor explained that his final film had not been fiction at all, but part of a ritual designed to trap souls inside recorded images forever. During the premiere in 1974, the audience unknowingly became sacrifices after the film opened something beneath the theatre that fed on fear and memory. The fire had merely sealed the survivors underground, while the entity transformed them into shadow figures bound to endless screenings. The shadows in the audience slowly stood from their seats and turned toward me together. Their empty faces began shifting into people I once knew, including relatives, childhood friends, and even my dead father staring silently from the front row. Victor smiled weakly and told me the theatre needed one final viewer before the film could spread beyond the basement forever. The projector beam suddenly widened across the room and wrapped around my body like burning chains made of light. Agonizing heat tore through my skin, while fragmented memories ripped through my mind faster than I could process them. I heard the audience applauding again as my own silhouette appeared flickering on the giant screen above them. Somehow I managed to grab a rusted lantern near the projector and smash it against the ancient machine. Flames erupted instantly across the reels, while Victor screamed loud enough to shake the underground walls around us. The audience figures dissolved into clouds of black smoke as the entire basement began collapsing inward. I escaped through the tunnels while fire spread rapidly beneath the theatre foundations. The ground outside trembled violently as the building collapsed behind me in a storm of sparks and ash. By sunrise, almost nothing remained except burned rubble and twisted metal scattered across the empty parking lot. Police searched the ruins for days after the fire, yet they never found evidence of the hidden cinema beneath the theatre. Harold disappeared before investigators could question him, and every photograph I captured inside the basement had been completely erased from my cameras. Official reports blamed faulty wiring and structural collapse for the destruction. For a while, I convinced myself the nightmare had finally ended. Then strange things began happening inside my apartment late at night after I returned home from the hospital. Film reels appeared beside my bed covered in ash, and faint applause echoed through the walls whenever the clock reached 1:13 in the morning. Sometimes my television flickers on without warning and displays distorted images of shadow figures sitting silently inside a dark auditorium. One of them always turns slowly toward the screen, as though noticing me watching from the other side. Every time it happens, I hear the projector starting again somewhere nearby. Last month, I received an unmarked package containing a single burned ticket stub from the old theatre. Written across the back in smeared black ink were 4 words that still keep me awake every night. The final screening continues. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Grave Nova Stories, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next nightmare.